Now the latest on the chaos in Haiti. An anti-terrorism team of U.S. Marines has just been sent to the capital of Port-au-Prince to help protect the U.S. Embassy there.
Haiti is on the brink of civil war as it spirals into chaos.
The extreme emergency situation in Haiti is getting out of control. The thousands of gangsters and their violence have driven Haiti to a state of chaos, forcing the U.S. government to deploy their toughest forces.
The U.S. now sending in Marines, an anti-terror team.
4 Army helicopters flying an elite group of dozens of U.S. Marines into Port-au-Prince.
Civilians fear for themselves and their families' safety. As gang leaders have taken over the capital, it begs the question, is this the start of an unprecedented war? What is going on in Haiti?
A catastrophe is unfolding in Haiti. Each day, people running for their lives. The gang violence in Port-au-Prince now trapping Americans caught in the crossfire.
In an unprecedented crisis, Haiti has descended into chaos as gangs have seized control across the nation, transforming it into what many describe as a dystopian nightmare. The capital is now under the dominion of these gangs, effectively leaving the country leaderless and its government functions at a standstill. Amidst this turmoil, residents are caught in a dire situation. Many are seeking safety through evacuation or fleeing the country by any means available.
Haiti is on the verge of the abyss. Armed groups control at least 60% of the capital, Port-au-Prince.
This sudden power shift has forced a complete shutdown of the country's operations, leaving its future hanging in the balance. The crisis in Haiti has escalated further with the resignation of the Prime Minister.
With criminal gangs overrunning his country, Haitian Prime Minister Ariel Henry agreeing to step down.
This dramatic step came amid the government's inability to form a new, stable leadership structure, exacerbating the country's political instability.
Armed gangs carried out 2 serious jailbreaks. Some 4,000 men have escaped.
Adding to the turmoil, in a terrifying turn of events, gang leaders have broken into the capital's 2 main prisons, breaking out thousands of extremely dangerous inmates, threatening to unleash further violence if their demands were not met. This move, seen as a capitulation to the gang's growing power, directly influenced the Prime Minister's decision to step down.
Jimmy Cherizier is currently one of the most powerful men in Haiti.
If Ariel Henry doesn't resign, if the international community continues to support him, we'll be heading straight for a civil war that will lead to
Haiti's Prime Minister has resigned as the violence in his country just gets worse.
The government's struggle to maintain order and the Prime Minister's resignation underscore the severe challenges Haiti faces in re-establishing governance and law and order. Haiti is grappling with unprecedented violence on its streets, marking a descent into lawlessness that threatens to classify it as a failed state. The breakdown of legal and governmental structures has allowed chaos to reign, with daily life for many Haitians now punctuated by fear and uncertainty. This surge in violence not only disrupts the social fabric of the nation, but also severely hampers any efforts towards recovery or stabilization. The situation's gravity signals a critical juncture for Haiti, where the absence of effective governance and the prevalence of unchecked violence could permanently alter its future trajectory. In response to the escalating chaos and violence in Haiti, the U.S. has deployed military forces to provide critical support to the beleaguered Haitian government and ensure the safety of the U.S. Embassy. This move comes amidst reports of American citizens trapped in Haiti, unable to safely leave due to the prevailing lawlessness and unrest.
Special forces in Homestead went into Port-au-Prince, Haiti, and pulled out dozens of Americans.
The U.S. military's involvement signifies a significant escalation in international efforts to restore order and protect lives in Haiti. The composition of the American forces being sent includes specialized units adept at crisis response and embassy protection, highlighting the seriousness with which the U.S. views the situation. Their mission focuses on securing safe passages for American nationals, aiding humanitarian efforts, and bolstering local law enforcement capabilities to regain control over the spiraling violence. This intervention underscores the international community's concern over Haiti's stability and the direct implications for regional security. Who are Haiti's gangs?
Right now, on these streets, he is in charge. Barbecue, they call him, the leader of a collective of gangs, street fighters who have effectively pulled off a coup.
The rise of gangs in Haiti represents a complex and deep-rooted issue that has culminated in their current dominance over much of the country. These gangs, numbering in the dozens, have evolved from localized groups into highly organized entities capable of challenging national authority. Their methods are as varied as they are brutal, including for ransom, territorial control through violence, and engaging in open conflict with rival gangs and law enforcement. Central to their ascendancy has been the exploitation of Haiti's long-standing social and economic vulnerabilities. The gangs have filled the power vacuums left by weak governmental institutions, offering protection or asserting control through fear in communities plagued by poverty and instability. They operate with a level of sophistication that includes managing financial operations from illicit activities and leveraging social media for propaganda, recruitment, and to instill fear among the populace. The gang known as G9 Family and Allies, led by a former police officer, has been particularly prominent, controlling significant portions of Port-au-Prince. This gang, like many others, engages in a mix of community support activities and a duality that complicates efforts to combat their influence. They've established quasi-governmental roles in areas under their control, providing services in exchange for loyalty or enforced taxation. Have become a hallmark of the gang's reign of terror, with both locals and foreigners targeted, undermining the tourism industry and deterring international aid and investment. Schools, hospitals, and businesses in gang-controlled areas operate under the constant threat of extortion or violence, severely impacting daily life and the economy.
The crackdown on gun smuggling in South Florida, they say hundreds of weapons are being sent to Haiti and other areas in the Caribbean.
The proliferation of arms and the apparent ease with which gangs acquire weaponry have only emboldened their actions. International routes and corrupt local networks supply the gangs with the tools needed to maintain and expand their control. This armament, coupled with the tactical experience of some gang leaders, often gives them a formidable edge over the under-resourced and overwhelmed Haitian National Police. Efforts by the Haitian government and international partners to dismantle or weaken these gangs have been met with limited success. The gangs' deep integration into the fabric of certain communities, their financial resources, and the sheer force they are willing to use make them a formidable opponent to any stabilizing efforts. How did the gangs take over?
Haiti is on a brink of becoming a failed state.
The gang's takeover of Haiti's capital, Port-au-Prince, and the subsequent resignation of the prime minister are interlinked events that underscore the extent of the gang crisis in Haiti. This takeover wasn't a conventional military coup, but a gradual assertion of control through violence, intimidation, and the exploitation of governmental weaknesses. Gangs have systematically expanded their territories within the capital by engaging in clashes with rivals and law enforcement, effectively imposing a climate of fear and instability. Their methods include widespread and blockades that disrupt daily life and economic activities.
We've got gangs essentially leading the country at this point in time because the prime minister can't get back in.
As these gangs solidified their grip on key areas, including vital transit routes, they choked off the government's ability to maintain order and provide services, eroding its legitimacy and operational capacity. The critical moment leading to the prime minister's resignation was the culmination of escalating demands from the gangs. They leveraged their control over the streets to make increasingly bold demands on the government, including the release of imprisoned gang members. These demands were backed by the implicit threat of further violence and chaos, showcasing the gangs' confidence in their power over state institutions.
Haïti besoin la paix. Haïti besoin stabilité. Haïti besoin un développement durable. Haïti besoin rebâtir institutions démocratiques.
The government's acquiescence to these demands, particularly the release of prisoners, was seen by many as a sign of capitulation to the gang's will. This move was highly controversial and damaged the credibility of the prime minister and the government at large, making it increasingly difficult for them to govern effectively. The prime minister's resignation can be viewed as a direct consequence of this untenable position, where yielding to gang demands to avoid immediate bloodshed undermined his authority and the government's sovereignty, leading to his decision to step down. This series of events highlights the gang's strategic manipulation of power dynamics within Haiti. By demonstrating their ability to dictate terms to the government and disrupt the functioning of the state, they not only forced a change in leadership, but also solidified their de facto control over the capital, casting a long shadow over the prospects for Haiti's recovery and governance. Government's response.
Haiti's prime minister has announced that he will resign amid mounting pressure and increasing violence in the country.
Gang leaders now making it clear their ultimate goal is to overthrow the government of Prime Minister Ariel Henry.
Haiti's government response to the gang crisis has been a mix of attempts at reassertion of control and concessions that have, in many ways, highlighted its limitations and vulnerabilities. Faced with unprecedented gang and territorial control, the government has struggled to implement effective strategies to combat the gangs' influence and restore order. Initially, the government's efforts included police operations aimed at reclaiming territories from gang control and arresting key gang figures. However, these operations often met with limited success due to the gangs' formidable firepower, tactical knowledge, and embeddedness within communities. The lack of resources and training for the Haitian National Police further compounded these challenges, making it difficult to sustain any gains made against the gangs.
Armed gangs stormed two of the nation's largest prisons on Saturday and Sunday, according to the government.
The situation concerning the prisons in Haiti illustrates the government's compromised position. Under intense pressure from gang leaders, the government made the controversial decision to release thousands of prisoners. This decision was ostensibly made to prevent further violence threatened by the gangs, but resulted in criticism both domestically and internationally. It underscored the extent to which the government had to negotiate with gang leaders, effectively acknowledging their power. As gang continued to escalate, the country became increasingly lawless, with the government's authority waning significantly. Gangs operated with impunity, executing and while effectively controlling large swathes of territory, including critical infrastructure and roadways. This pervasive lawlessness further eroded public confidence in the government's ability to protect its citizens and maintain order. In this context, the Haitian government found itself in a position of diminished power, unable to effectively govern or safeguard its populace. The gangs' control over key areas and the government's inability to enforce law and order across the nation have led to a situation where the government's sovereignty is questioned, both by its citizens and the international community.
Overnight, the United States military airlifting personnel in and out of the U.S. Embassy in Haiti. The country's struggling to fight back against gangs.
The United States' response to the crisis in Haiti has been multifaceted, reflecting the severity of the situation and its implications for regional stability and security. Recognizing the Haitian government's incapacitation and the urgent need to protect American citizens and interests in Haiti, the U.S. deployed military forces to support the Haitian government and ensure the safety of the U.S. Embassy. This deployment includes efforts to secure safe passages for American nationals trapped in Haiti, provide logistical and security support to the Haitian National Police where possible, and facilitate humanitarian aid delivery. Additionally,
it's outrageous. I promise you those people will pay. They will be, there's an investigation underway now, and there will be consequences. It's dangerous, it's wrong. It sends the wrong message around the world. It sends the wrong message at home. It's simply not who we are.
The U.S. has engaged in diplomatic efforts to address the root causes of the crisis, calling for international cooperation to restore order and support Haiti's path to recovery. These actions by the U.S. highlight the international community's concern over Haiti's descent into chaos and the recognition that restoring stability in Haiti requires concerted effort beyond its borders. What about the civilians?
The Caribbean nation is in freefall, without effective governance or protection from gangs that routinely terrorize innocent civilians. That has left people reeling from the violence and others hopeless, determined to leave.
The lives of civilians in Haiti amidst the gang crisis paint a grim picture of survival under constant threat. Living in fear has become the new norm for countless Haitians, as gang violence and lawlessness pervade their communities. The palpable sense of insecurity and unpredictability affects every aspect of daily life, leading to profound psychological and social consequences. For those with the means and opportunity, fleeing the country has emerged as a desperate option to escape the violence.
Haiti's streets have been engulfed in violence for 2 days, with heavy gunfire reported near the international airport and residents fleeing in droves.
Families are being torn apart, with members often making perilous journeys in search of safety abroad, leaving behind homes, jobs, and the life they once knew. The decision to leave is fraught with its own dangers, including the risk of exploitation and the uncertainty of life as refugees or migrants. The day-to-day lives of those who remain are marked by constant vigilance and adaptation to the ever-present threat of violence. Simple activities, such as going to the market, attending church, or visiting family, now involve complex calculations about safety and the risk of encountering gang-related violence. Economic activities have been severely disrupted, leading to job losses and increased poverty, further exacerbating the humanitarian crisis. Education has become a casualty of the crisis, with many schools in gang-controlled or contested areas forced to close due to safety concerns. Children who should be in school learning and playing are instead caught in the crossfire of gang conflicts, their futures jeopardized by the instability and violence surrounding them. The lack of access to education for an extended period promises long-term detrimental impacts on the country's youth and their prospects. The risk to civilians' lives is not merely a byproduct of gang clashes. It is also a result of deliberate targeting by gangs through and violence. Communities live under the constant shadow of being caught in the violence, losing loved ones, or being forced to comply with gang demands. Healthcare, too, has been impacted, with medical facilities becoming overwhelmed by the needs of violence victims and often targeted by gangs themselves, compromising the delivery of essential services. Describing the situation as hell on earth captures the essence of the despair and hopelessness felt by many Haitians. The social fabric of communities is being torn apart, with trust eroded and fear dominating. The cumulative effect of the violence, economic hardship, and collapse of public services has created a humanitarian crisis that threatens the very survival and dignity of Haiti's civilian population. The future for Haiti.
The U.S., along with a group of Caribbean nations, is pressing Haiti's prime minister to speed up a political transition. Ariel Henry had been missing for days, but landed yesterday in Puerto Rico.
If the current crisis in Haiti continues unabated, the future looks bleak, with potential long-term implications not only for the nation but also for the region. The crisis, intensifying daily, threatens to push Haiti into a vortex of perpetual instability and devastation. With the country already teetering on the brink of collapse, the continuation of this trajectory could solidify its status as a failed state, characterized by an absence of governmental control, rampant violence, and humanitarian disaster. As the crisis deepens, the fabric of Haitian society risks further disintegration. Economic activities could grind to a halt, leading to exacerbated poverty and an even greater humanitarian crisis. The potential for a complete collapse of public health, education, and safety systems would leave the population vulnerable to diseases, illiteracy, and a life in constant peril. The escalating violence could lead to an increased exodus of refugees, placing strain on neighboring countries and possibly destabilizing the region. Moreover, the longer this situation persists, the harder it will be to reverse. The erosion of the rule of law and the breakdown of civil society institutions would make recovery efforts exponentially more challenging. International intervention might become more complicated and costly, both in terms of resources and human lives. For Haiti to steer away from this dire future, a multifaceted approach is necessary. Immediate international support is crucial to address the humanitarian needs and to provide the Haitian government and law enforcement agencies with the resources needed to restore order. This includes financial aid, security assistance, and expertise in rebuilding institutions. Long-term solutions must focus on addressing the root causes of the crisis. This involves comprehensive strategies that go beyond mere security concerns, aiming at economic development, poverty reduction, and educational opportunities. Strengthening Haiti's institutions to ensure good governance, transparency, and the rule of law is imperative to regain the trust of the Haitian people and to build a stable and prosperous future. Regional cooperation and a coordinated international response are vital to support Haiti through this crisis. The international community, including organizations like the United Nations and regional bodies like the Organization of American States, need to be actively involved in facilitating dialogue and delivering aid. Ultimately, the resolution of Haiti's crisis requires a commitment to a long-term vision that prioritizes the well-being of its people, the restoration of democracy, and the development of a resilient state structure. Without such comprehensive efforts, the prospects for Haiti's recovery remain dim, and the country could become a perpetual source of instability and human suffering in the Caribbean.